All right, shalom, shalom to the nation of Israel, shalom. All right, this is your brother Kazakia out of Great Millstone, New Orleans, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Shah, right? But prior to getting started, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? And the title of today's lesson is going to be Good Times Make Soft Men, okay? That's going to be the title of today's lesson is Good Times Make Soft Men, all right? So we know that what the prophecies are ramping up, man. You know, we're pretty much getting ready for, World War III, man. Okay, that's on the horizon. You know, Jacob's trouble is on the horizon. Okay, but here in Babylon the Great, aka America, the people has been living in luxury, man. They've been living, basically, peaceably, so to speak, right? They have their money, right? They have pretty much the fatness of the earth, everything they could possibly want, they have, okay? And, what they're not ready for is the time, that we're coming into now. Okay, so we're going to get real quick through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shah, this first precept. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 8. It says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So that's where we are in right now. We're in a time of war, man, right? And before peace begins to get settled in through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shah, war has to happen first, okay? And that's in basically, all scenarios when you're dealing with multiple nations and different people, okay? It's basically an arms race to see who's going to be, on top, at the end of the day, okay? And we know, like I said, we know that, Babylon the Great, a.k.a. so-called America, has been basically, the hammer of the earth, man. They've been basically, living carefree. You know what I'm saying? They haven't been given, fear and doubt within their mind, in their mind. And the scriptures talk about that, man. The scriptures talk about them not, being given over to those things. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get a few precepts, to back that up, man. Okay. Let's go ahead and get, let's get some damn guy over here playing this loud ass music. All right, let's get Psalms real quick. All right, this is Psalms 17 and verse 13. It says, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So that's Esau Edom, right? The so-called white man. He has been the Lord's sword, right? Going forward and conquering all throughout the planet Earth, okay? Killing, raping, pillaging, and plundering, right? The whole entire earth, all right? Verse 14, it said, for men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, right? So we know Esau has been what? He's been given the fatness of the earth, right? He's been given the dew from the heaven above, basically going back to what? Genesis, okay? He's been given a specific, time to rule throughout the planet Earth, okay? Right? Okay? So what, man? While he's living it up, while he's having his great time, while he's having joy, while he's having mirth, while he's not, and we're going to get that scripture where basically it speaks on, him not being in trouble as, other men, so to speak. Guess what, man? The Lord's going to have what, man? He's going to have fears, pains, sorrows, widowhood. All these things are going to come, in a moment's right notice or a blink of an eye. Okay. But what? These men has what? They're grown soft, man. Look at the generation now, man. right? When you go back maybe a couple months ago, they talked about what? They talked about, having a draft, okay? Drafting people, man, basically for World War III. And which they will have the draft, okay? That's a part of prophecy. But what did the people say? They said, man, I'm not fighting, okay? These people think they're going to force me to get drafted, to go to war, to fight for a war that I don't want to have nothing to do with, or I don't care about, right? You can't get these people to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, basically out of their phones, man. Okay, their head is just stuck in their phone, man, which is another device, created to distract the eye, right? The focus of the man, okay, so to speak. Okay, and it says, in whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, they are all full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. So they've been living deliciously for X amount of time, man. Okay, they've been living in joy and mirth and wealth, right? In so much that they truly believe that they're going to pass their wealth down from generation to generation to generation. And ultimately, forever, really. That's what they really believe in their minds, right? The scriptures talk about that, right? But these people aren't ultimately ready for what's coming, man. They're not ready for what's about to happen, okay? These men out here really aren't ready for war, okay? They're not. They become comfortable being comfortable, man. And now we're in the times of what? Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah making everything uncomfortable. And, the prophets, starting with the elders and apostles, okay, at Great Millstone on down, they teach you the truth teaches you, about being uncomfortable. That's ultimately what it teaches you, right? Enduring hardness, right? Being patient, going through tribulations, being tried. Okay, all of these are things that basically come with the truth, okay? All right, let's go get another precept. Because we mentioned, stay here in Psalm, I believe it's 49 and verse. See here. All right, yes, this is Psalms 49 and verse 10. Okay, this is, it says, for he seeth that the wise men die. Likewise, the fool and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Okay, and this is talking about Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the so-called white man. Okay, he's a fool. He's a foolish man. Going into basically just stupid, man. Okay, and it says it does what, man? It says it says and leave their wealth to others, right? And that's what they do. They pass down their wealth from generation to generation, right? They're in after coming with the sword, they're now made with what? The fatness of the earth. They have the scriptures say they basically have more than a heart could wish for. And I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I'm gonna get that. But hey, that's they really believe that, man, and they really have it. So if you have an abundance of everything, if you can buy any house, right, any car, go anywhere you want to go, okay, and pretty much do anything you want to do, right? You basically becoming extremely comfortable, man, and not ready, truly ready for what's to come, which is war, death, destruction, famine, pestilence. Okay, these are the things that's coming to Babylon the Great, aka America, man, and the people are not ready. Like I say, good. Like the title of today's lesson is "Good Times Make Soft Men." Okay, or make Men soft, man. And these people are soft, man. They're not ready for the war, that's to come. If anything, they're terrified. All right. And it says, Psalms 49:11, it says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Is not that true, man? Right? The inward thought is that, what? Their houses shall continue forever, man. Everything that they have is going to be here, and it's not going nowhere. So nothing bad is going to happen to it. Okay? And you can, what do they say? You could take that to the bank. They really believe that, but the Lord has plans, man. The Lord is going to show them otherwise. Okay? The Lord's really going to, bring the pain, man. Okay? He's going to bring the hurt. Okay? He's really going to make these devils feel it, man. Okay? All right? And what else does it say? And it says they call their lands after their own names, right? So when they go for it, right, conquering, okay, they basically try to change the names of different land masses, right, to show forth that who conquered it, man, okay, that he conquered it. All right. And this is the basic, this is the basic principle mindset of your average so-called American, man. Right? Which is also known as the damn, Babylonians. Okay. All right, let's get another precept. Okay. Let's go to Psalms. Let's get this. All right, this is Psalms. Where do I start at? Okay, I'm gonna start at verse 3. This is Psalm 73:3. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." Right, man, because these devils are very prosperous, man. Okay, they've been given that time to rule, right, and they've been given, all the different. Basically all the different portions of the earth, man. Okay, everything. Basically the ball was, put in their court, man. Right, and they're wielding it, right, and doing whatsoever they want with it. Okay. So, with them having dominion over the planet Earth, you know what I'm saying, and other people seeing how prosperous they are, but on the back end, the Israelites are paying for what? The sins of their forefathers. And their sins that they have committed, that we have committed, over the course of time, because that's all we're paying for is our sins, man. That we did, the covenant that we broke with Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. It says, for I was envious at the foolish. And I believe the scriptures also say, fret not, basically, basically don't be envious, right? Of envy, the wicked for the things that they have, man, because their time is going to be short, man. Okay, the things that they have is temporal, right? They basically want what we have, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, which is this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, ultimately being an Israelite, okay, to do what? To get the kingdom of heaven. And I'm speaking to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, okay, Seminole Indian man, woman, and child. Okay, you're the chosen people of the Lord, man, of Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, and it says, verse 4 says, "For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm." Verse 5, it says, "They are not in trouble as other men." You see that? It says they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Okay, so what's going to happen when you're not in trouble? When you're completely at ease, right? You use the sword to go through all the earth and kill and destroy everything, every landmass that you've ever touched on. So you're living a carefree life, right? And living a carefree life, you have no worries. You have no doubts, okay? Right? That's the so-called good times. And what does it make, man? It makes a soft man, man. It makes men soft. It makes them weak. They're not in preparation for war, okay? They're not in preparation for really, what's to come according to the scriptures, man. Okay? And that's at least about, damn near, I want to say 85, 90%, right, of you so-called Babylonians. You're just not ready, man. And you're not going to be ready, right? Because this is going to take the world by storm, man. Whatever Esau has planned up his sleeve is going to take the world, basically off guard, okay? But the prophets of Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, they know exactly what's to come, man. Right? People are going to be seeking the knowledge, right? The light, the wisdom, from the prophets. And they're not going to find it, man. Okay? Unless you already know that person, maybe, potentially. Now, there are going to be people that the Lord's going to, spare, okay? And he's going to have them come across the prophets by some type of divine intervention, okay? And they're going to learn a few things. Believers, man, okay? As we're going to come into this knowledge. Because there's not going to be another way out, okay? I want to read a little bit more on this. Let me see. I'm trying to see where I wanted to stop at. Maybe around verse 9. All right, this is verse 6. It says, therefore pride compasses them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment. Right, man. And what is he? He's a prideful man, man. Okay. The most Salakia, the most prideful, out of everyone. And it's a violence covered them. And that's all he's about, man. Okay. Esau's blessing was the sword. Okay. And the Lord said he beareth not the sword in vain, man. Okay. All right. This is verse 7. It says, their eyes stand out with fatness. Okay. They have more than heart can wish for. All right. They got more than a heart could wish for, man. Okay. They got everything. Okay. Now that they have it all, they're not thinking about going to war, right? Potentially, dying. Okay. Because other people want to fight. I done war already. I done, went to the battlefield, through their ancestors, right? Their forefathers. And we done conquered everything. So, why I'm living off basically my spoils of war, I'm not trying to fight. That's the average mindset of the Babylonians, man. You so-called Americans. Okay? All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it on that. I'm go get another precept. All right. Let's see. Bear with me. All right. This is Job 21 and verse 7. It says, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, are mighty in power, right? Because, we see what happens to our people. They basically, get messed up by the Lord, man. Some people sins, the Lord punished them quickly within their sins, right? The Lord chastised our people, right? So we could learn, from our mistakes, man. Now, we know 2/3 of our people over here in America, they're not going to learn, man. Okay? They're not going to get it, right? They're not going to really understand what's going on. They're basically, slated, okay, for destruction, okay? But, the wicked, they just do wickedly and they grow old, and you know what I'm saying? They get old as hell, and like the scriptures say, they leave their wealth to others. Then they don't have no worries, man. No worries. Zero. Okay? And it says, verse 8, it says, their seed is established in the sight with them, and their offspring before their eyes. Okay, and it says their houses are safe from fear, neither is the rod of God upon them. So the Lord is not punishing these people, man. When you could get away with doing what you want to do, when you want to do it, and how you want to do it, you're just gonna continue to just keep doing it, right? The scriptures say, it basically says that the Lord, they basically continue to do so much wickedness that and got away with it, that they thought that the Lord was basically one like them. Okay, but this is all coming to a so-called screeching hope, where the Lord is going to make these people pay, for the things that they have done, right? And these men out here, they are not ready, man. And they're truly not ready for, what's to come, on the planet Earth. Okay, they're going to be, like I said before, they're going to be terrified, right? Because the Lord ultimately, let me see this. I want to say it's Job 12, where it talks about the Lord being the king of terrors. King. Okay, it's Job 18 and verse 14. It says, his confidence, right? We talked about what? This man being a prideful man, okay? Shall be rooted out of his tabernacle, okay? And it says, and it shall bring him to the king of terrors, man. And that's what the people are being brought to. They're being brought forth through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shema Shai, to the king of terrors, man. The Lord is going to play on all the fears, of the people, man, that is not serving him, and choose, not to serve him, man. Okay. And that's going to start chiefly with, the nation of Esau, the Edomites, right? The other nations, 2/3, they're basically going to get, what they deserve, so to speak. Okay. All right, let's get one more. Yeah. All right. Somewhere around there. All right, that's I'm gonna start up verse 28. It's Jeremiah 51 and 28. It says, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. Okay. And it says, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose, right, of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon. So all the things the Lord said he's going to do, death, famine, plagues, pestilence, the sword, destruction, starvation, okay, hunger, everything the Lord had planned, widowhood, right, the fatherless, okay, this is all prophecy. Everything the Lord had planned against Babylon the Great will happen, man. Okay, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. Okay, we're just out here, warning the people. Okay, and it says, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. Okay, if there's no inhabitant, right, and an inhabitant is a person, pretty much, okay, that lives here. Okay, if there's no one to inhabit the land, what is the Lord going to do to the land of Babylon the Great? He's going to completely destroy it. Okay? And it's going to be without remedy. All right? And it says, this Jeremiah 51 and 30 says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have forborne to fight, okay? They have remained in their holds, right? These people are not, they don't want to fight, okay? They're not fighters. I believe, even when you go to certain nations, they basically train you to fight, man, okay? They train you in war, right, in tactics, okay? Joining an army or something, joining a police force. You got to serve your country in some form of way or fashion, okay? By those means. It basically has to happen like so, okay? Okay, this is the word, I believe it's forborn, to be flabby. It said desist, be lacking or idle, cease, end, fail, forsake, leave off, let alone, okay? And it says be unoccupied, want. These people don't want to fight, man, okay? They don't want, what this people say, they don't want no smoke. But they're going to get all the smoke, a person could get and more. All right? It says the mighty men too. So if the mighty men don't want to fight, which basically will go more into your people that, that are in the military, right? The people that's training, right? Doing weapons training and all this other stuff, to prepare for a battle. It says the mighty men don't want to fight. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed, right? The things that they've put themselves into, right? The exercises, the training, right? The preparation, right? Because there's still people, within the military, that, want to fight and defend the country. But the majority of people in the military don't even want to do that. Okay, they're not trying to fight, man. Okay, like I said, the Babylonians, chiefly you Edomites, okay, the so-called white man, he's been living luxuriously, man. Okay, he's been living in wealth. He's been given into pleasures and pleasures, okay. And when you're giving into those things, your heart, your mind isn't on, defending what's yours. Okay? And it says, that might have failed them, they become as women. Right? So what do women do? Well, first of all, women are the spoils of war, man. Okay? When all hell breaks loose, all you women and all you children, right, are going to be basically, just scared, man. You're going to be petrified. You're not going to know what to do, right? The bombs go off in the city. The lights go out. Gunfire starts erupting, right? You don't have a man of the Lord to protect you in that day, right? Because the man, right, the Lord's going to be dealing with the man that have the spirit on him through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem El Shai. You're through. Right? You're the first spoils of war, man. Okay, you're gonna be all those guys, right, that seeing your TikToks, your Instagrams, all those different posts you post, right? Being, cute, beautiful, dancing, whatever, shaking your butt, all the rest of that kind of stuff. Okay, those guys are gonna remember that, man, and you're gonna become a prey in those days. Okay. But it says they become like women. They don't want to fight, man. A woman's not down for the fight. Okay? It's just that simple. When all hell breaks loose, and it will break loose according to the scriptures, okay, the mighty men will be likened unto a woman, man. All right? And it says, they have burned her dwelling places, her bars are broken. Okay? So yeah, man. Okay, that's pretty much all I had through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem El Shai. But Good times, the title of today's lesson is Good Times Make Men Soft, or Make Soft Men, okay? So, remember that, man. The Lord say, basically gird yourself up, man. Gird up your loins and show thyself a man, man. It's a time of, it's not the time of these effeminate men, okay? It's not the time of, these men playing a role of, let's make everything 50-50. It's not that time, man. Okay. It's time for men, to basically stand tall, and the Lord's going to be dealing with certain men. Okay. The prophets of Yahweh Bashim El Shai. All right. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I have through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim El Shai. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying first and foremost to the hopeful elect. But prior to getting out of here, we want to give all infinite honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Harakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, rule and teach well. Peace, blessings, and salutations be to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, all right? Kwame Yasha Allah, Ababa Ball, and Shalom.